It's a very nice interaction. Good afternoon to all the participants in this particular training program. I am Dr. Ponnusamy, representing National Dairy Research Institute based at Karnal. I will be sharing an experience where farmers have two type of need, that felt need and unfelt need. This tick infestation, for many of the farmers, it is an unfelt need. They do not know. They suck flood. I will show the slide also, the documented slide, how much flood it sucks. But it affects milk productivity indirectly and directly through affecting the health of the animal. So let me share the slide. Then we can, you will be able to understand how this particular practice, initially formulated by a farmer from Tamil Nadu, later it was picked up by an organization under the DST, Department of Science and Technology, called NIF, National Innovation Foundation, based at Gujarat, Gandhinagar. It is working under the Department of Science and Technology, and they normally patent the farmers' innovations. And the information is available in the public domain also. Anybody can use. Even we have hosted this particular success story in our ICR website. We have undertaken a project called Farmer Participatory Assessment of Cost-Effective Solution for Management of Ticks and Mites in a Dairy Animal. Yes, I already told you that the productivity loss in livestock might be due to so many reasons, but the parasitic infestation is also significantly causing milk yield reduction. Maybe 14 to 23% it was documented only due to parasitic infestation. Then it also affects the quality of hides, of course, especially in market value, and live weight gain. Almost 1 gram per day, if the ticks are allowed to multiply in number and farmers are not making any control efforts. So tick bites reduce the feed intake, because always animal feel uneasy, unhealthy, it will not take feed properly. They transmit, these ticks also transmit protozoan, rickettsial and viral diseases also. This is another thing which is already well documented. The loss of milk production per day, if you see, or milk productivity, 1.61 liter in crossbreed, almost half liter in indigenous, and 1.10 liter in buffalo. This was documented by Dr. Ghosh et al. From IVRI. Normally, what practice now the veterinarians recommend is use of acaricide. Acaricide used only among the progressive dairy farmers with the large herds. But normally, small and marginal farmers, they do not make any effort, or they just handpick the ticks. That is also very dangerous. We should not do like that. But there are number of ITKs, number of herbal preparations. They gain importance due to their therapeutic value, local availability, and cost effectiveness. So let me share what we have done. Our objective is to demonstrate and assess the impact of this polyherbal medication or indigenous solution for controlling the ticks and mites in dairy animals. We used only two plant leaves. One is neem, which is available everywhere throughout India. Then another one is called monk pepper. In English, we call it as a monk pepper. In Hindi, we call it as a nirgundi or mala plant. Mala poda, we say. Or these are all the local names, but the botanical name is Vitex negando. Vitex, in Tamil, we call it as a nochi leaves. Vitex negando. Aza directa India, you may be knowing very well, and its effect in controlling number of pest and diseases as being discussed in the last 4 days training program. Now, how we have done? We identified 3 districts representing 3 agroclimatic region of Haryana. Then 8 villages we adopted. In every village, we adopted 4 to 5 farmers in each village, so that they can able to disseminate the demonstration which we conduct with them. Then we prepare the solution. We use the result demonstration. We have completely demonstrated the preparation. The requirements are neem leaves, Vitex negando, or in Haryana they call it as a mala poda, mala plant. Muslin cloth for just filtration. I will tell you even while explaining the preparation method. Bucket, funnel, gloves, sprayer. So these are all. This sprayer means small hand sprayer, just spraying on the animal. Application, this preparation is applied for 3 days. First day, second day, third day, both morning and evening. Then after that, we make observation. First day, second day, third day, then 7th day, 14th day, 21st day, 28th day. That means every week up to 28th day. So we have prepared, demonstrated, we have given the training. The name of the villages also I have indicated, like in Bhiwani, one madam is attending, Sunila, Pur and Kungar. Two villages we have adopted in Bhiwani. In Chind village, Buana, Prarkara and Ramrai villages. Then how we prepared, as advocated by the National Innovation Foundation, 2.5 kg of freshly collected leaves of neem tree. We have taken in 4 liters of lukewarm water. We have taken, put it in one vessel, then we have boiled. In another, at the same time, another 1 kg of leaves of this nagod or mala pauda or nirgundi, we have taken in 2 liters of water. We boiled both the leaves separately. Then we kept it for overnight or 12 hours duration under normal room temperature. That means today evening if we prepare, next day morning we just both the filtrations we have filtered. Crude extract it is filtered and collected separately. Then later 300 ml of neem extract, 100 ml of crude extract. 3:1. We can say 3:1. It is mixed together in the ratio of 3:1 and kept as a stock solution. Then 400 ml of this 300 plus 100, 400 ml of this crude extract is mixed in 3600 ml of fresh water to make it as a 4 liter for application in a small holder farm units at the time of requirements. The photograph which you are seeing an animal which is totally infested with ticks, I think you can able to even see from your naked eye the presence of ticks, how much blood it sucks. So 500 ml approximately we spray in the morning and another 500 ml. So it is only approximately, you need not measure it, half liter. You spray on the animal, on full animal, and also crevices in the cattle shed, cattle yard. Before application every time, the quantity of the ticks in different parts of the body were counted. Along with the farmer, it is a participatory method. Along with the farmer, we have counted these ticks to understand the severity of the tick infestation in the udder portion, you know, dewlap. This neck portion, dewlap. Ears, then perineal and other body parts by making a marking 3 centimeters square, how much it is there, so that you can able to count the number of ticks. And every day you are observing, you will know how it is getting reduced. The standard operating procedure as recommended by National Innovation Foundation was fully followed for taking the observation. Now, these are all the capacity building program which we have organized with the farmers. Then go to the what is the impact of this solution? Sorry, impact of this polygrapal medication. You can see the first day the tick infestation total, the whole body we have taken. It is an average in one village. 8 villages I have indicated. Total number of animals 203 animals with 47 farmers. We have undertaken this work. The total infestation, if you see tick infestation, 45,000. So more than the 40 before the treatment. Slowly and slowly, it is almost getting nil to negligible on 28th day. So the same type of observation we have seen in all the villages. You can see in different districts also, Bhiwani district, Jind. Then what is the perceived comparison? We have just asked the farmer with some indicators. What is your perception by using this polygrapal method? So one though everybody knows, everywhere it is being told that allopathic medicines are very costly. Then recurrence of normally people use Botox or ivermectin for controlling ticks by the progressive farmers as recommended by the veterinarian. So recurrence is every 25th day recurrence is there. Approximate cost, if you calculate, it comes to be around 1,440 rupees per year per animal. Any progressive farm we can calculate. Few farmers also use tick clean soap, Botox, etc., but need to be repeated in 15 to 20 days. The treatment cost is approximately 45 rupees per animal per 20 days and 800 per year. The veterinarian charge fee while treating animals in the farmer's premises. If the veterinarian comes, he will also charge 300 to 400 or even 500 rupees per visit So this is the problem. But in the case of polyherbal medication using neem and nirgundi, it is very cost effective. The recurrence part is the most important part, which has convinced all the 47 adopted farmers in 3 districts. It happens after 40 to 45 days using this medication. The treatment cost, if we calculate, it is coming somewhere around 160 to 240 rupees in 1 year. This much only, because farmers themselves can prepare and get the result with the minimum cost. So they can this neem and nirgundi are available, but neem is available, nirgundi is not available. So considerable time is spent by the farmers from preparation to application. In the case of allopathy, simply they can purchase or the direct doctor can treat. But in the case of this polyherbal medication, they have to spend some time to prepare, to get the ingredient, to prepare the ingredient, to apply, to see the results. And normally side effect, people say that irritation on the skin, reaction of the medicine due to this allopathic treatment, milk yield reduction, discomfort of the animals for 2-3 days after use of allopathic medicine. When we use regular allopathic medicine to control ticks, animals can also suffer from skin disease as well as the prolapse. Some farmers they report. Trained veterinarians are required for applying this medicine. But in the case of polyherbal medication, farmers can very easily prepare, and feeding is also very easy. Animal skin looks lusher and brightness. There is no side effect. So all kind of animal, dry animal, milk animal, pregnant animal, calf, keeper, all animals can be applied. When we first demonstrated in Karnal district in one of the villages, one lady took a lot of interest because in that particular village, this nirgundi was available. That was the very beauty. Otherwise, nirgundi was available 40 to 50 years back in Haryana state. But now we do not know the importance. But if you just click internet, you will get thousands of research articles on this chemical properties of the nirgundi plant or Vitex negundo. You have to put the Vitex negundo. So that way, one of the technologies documented by National Innovation Foundation, they have given it as a small project to NDRA. We have done, we have seen. So the problem is now upscaling. Otherwise, if you give the material, farmers will adopt, then afterwards they will stop. What we did, neem is available everywhere. We approached the forest department of Haryana government at Yamunanagar Herbal Park. They raised 4,000 seedlings of nirgundi. We have distributed to 600 farmers. Apart from that, we have prepared all the extension materials, and we demonstrated these things in the dairy mela, where you are seeing the dairy mela also. We have given a stall and we explained the purpose. So by this way, this has become one of the very successful technological intervention. And even while attending this program, I have got a phone call from a farmer from Jajjad district of Haryana, where we will get. So we also established one herbal park, animal health garden, animal health herbal garden in front of our extension division at NDRA Karnal, and that could serve as a learning platform for the visitors. And these are all the utility of the results, which I have put it in a small sentences for your better understanding.
The active ingredient in neem is azadirachtin, and which is the solubility is very poor in water. And you attempted water extraction. I think probably the concentration of azadirachtin is not as per expectation. And secondly, this butax, which is chemical, is also not acting on the ticks. They are very much resistant, and even after butax spray also they are not, we are not able to control them. And it causes anemia of the animal, and it is really a very big menace in our Telangana region also. So, but this herbal treatment, you may have to attempt, the extraction in some other different media, because the solubility is very poor, and you may get maximum 0.05 ppm in the extract. So that is one thing. And secondly, to the Dr. Sabyasachi garu, so the grazing lands are dwindling, sir. There are no grazing lands, and it is, as you know, there is a lot of pressure on the land for commercial crops and food crops. So the grazing lands are a dream nowadays. So we may have to go for intensive cattle rearing by raising fodder crops in part of the land and feeding them by stall feeding method. And the livestock is seen as a provider of dung and urine, and also maybe drought power to the agriculture. But it is not looked at as a commercial enterprise, wherein we have also major products coming out from livestock like milk, meat, and eggs. And the organic farming of livestock is not at all discussed in this 5-day training program. As you know, the livestock provides 1/3 to 1/4 of the GDP of the agriculture, but we have no stress on the rearing of livestock to produce livestock products of organic nature like meat, milk, and eggs. So that part of the farming is neglected or ignored rather. So I would like to request the authorities to consider, to take up the livestock rearing in organic way or natural farming. So it is not as a supplement to the agriculture, but it is an activity by itself, which is remunerative and which is important part of the agriculture. So these few remarks I conclude.
So we need to calculate the fodder deficit. We need to look into the different options. And one option is to growing fodder, but again in the dry land and the rainfed, you will not get the water every time. So there is a no acid irrigation. So therefore you need to what are the change in the mindset is required is the multi-cropping system. If there is a multi-cropping system, then there is a even cash crop into the as a main crop. Like in the morning that they have said that groundnut is one of the area in Anandpur which is a cash crop, but also the other crops that is required into the cropping system where you can get the fodder for 2-3 months. Primarily the fodder issue comes in the month of from the month of February or so. So therefore a multi-pronged approach to be taken up. And therefore my request to most of the animal husbandry department in the most of the state to look into that. There are options available and you need to systematically work towards it. It is not a single one thing that will solve the problem, but probably we need to look into from the multi-angle.
If we can manage the fodder resources properly, I think there will not be any shortages, because the crop residues can be used as a fodder, and in certain states, the harvesting of paddy, we are losing a lot of, by using the harvesters, we are losing a lot of straw in the field itself, and many times even the harvested fodder also is burnt, causing a lot of pollution, particularly in Punjab and Haryana. So if you can manage fodder banks properly, you can transport from deficit areas to, from surplus areas to deficit areas, and the crop residue is the major source of fodder in our country. And there are a lot of technologies developed to process the crop residue and straw, treat the straw, so that they become nutritious. So I feel the fodder shortage is not a problem as such, unless it is properly managed properly.
No, the point is it has to be this is a serious issue. It needs to be taken consideration, and then a multi-pronged approach is required. And if you work on the crop system, if people are only monocrop with the cotton or monocrop with the paddy, it will be difficult. And then if you look at that earlier presentation, people said that look at the upland, and there is an importance to diversify the crop in the upland. You just cannot do paddy in the upland. But I am happy that you have said that there is a need to talk about animal husbandry into the natural farming discourse, and that was the purpose of having this discussion during this 5-day program.
Natural farming is not possible as far as I'm just looking after the traditional area, tribal area, it is very, very economic, but it is neglected one because
Yes, sir.
rearing one or two cow is very profitable actually. Not we are not just talking about herds. Rearing of 5 to 10 goats. This is very supplementary income source of the tribal and small holding farmers. It is very
Absolutely.
neglected. It is to be bring into the stream, and it is supportive to the natural farming. It is an integration to the natural farming.
But there is a lot of demand for meat, particularly from the small ruminants.
Yeah, that is
And
another
there is
part.
a lot
That is
of
another
demand,
part.
and nobody
But
is
survival
attempting.
of the farmer is very important. How round the year income will be supporting for him? Poultry, goat, and the desi cow. Why desi cow? It is acquainted with the local system. We are not talking about hybrids. It's because in the tribal area, so hybrid cannot survive. So it is to be supported with the local cow only. In the that Konkan region and this Sahyad region, dangi is very popular because dangi has a very peculiar characteristic that rainfall area, the rain will not stop in the skin because it is in actually in free range system. So that is very important. The characteristics to be studied for the popularizing of the domestic animals.
Thank you, Rao Sahib Patil Sahib.
Good evening, sir. In Tamil Nadu, we got a lot of local practices being followed by farmers, sir. If possible, also we can make a documentation in the entire Tamil Nadu state about the animal projects. We can add in the entire Tamil Nadu Indian level adoption. Yes, many scientists have developed here. Many practice are also in work enough. Not even the very well go to doctors. Even for the delivery and pregnancy, they use some of the local all types of herbals. They got very good knowledge and data available in Tamil Nadu, especially in around Tanjavur. Saraboji, King Saraboji has documented a lot of materials, sir. We can also visit Saraboji library and we can get documentation for the social purpose, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Elangavan sir. So may I request Dr. Sadhana Sahib, you would like to have 2 minutes to put your
Yes,
perspective, particularly Himachal and other places.
right.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. If not Himachal, for the country as a whole, we have here more than 137 persons, most of them dealing with the crop farming. Point has come, but it is important to really emphasize that crop farming cannot happen without livestock. This point has come, but what is important is that we have generally gone isolatedly in terms of crops and also isolatedly in terms of livestock, sheep for meat production and all, without considering that their droppings are so useful for our crop farming, and our crop farming without attending to the point that the local desi cow is an integral and essential part for really doing natural farming. So an integrated approach, diversified approach, I must say, a common approach considering both these complementary setups. So a circular economy, the things would happen. We need to have livestock, the cattle especially, in all the different regions. The local, like Dangi is a good name which has come up. There are many characters. One character has been very nicely brought up by Patil Saab, that's a high rainfall area and rain will not stop on the skin of the dangi because it is shiny, it is oily also, and those are, this is one example, many characters like that. Each local breed has those characters. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Someone was actually talking about the wheat infestation regarding sheep penning and etc. So in that I was actually responding that as Dr. Ponnusamy also mentioned that it is important to look at animal health from the point of view of this thing. One is polyherbal techniques, ethnoveterinary practices. There are different ethnoveterinary practices at different places. So preventive healthcare, like in the crop pest management and disease management. If you look at the last day, everyone was emphasizing more on the preventive part. So in animal husbandry also it is important to look into the preventive part. Someone also said that the weed infestation, I was actually trying to argue that if you go for the multi-cropping system, if you go for the mulching and other thing as a part of the natural farming, then your issues with the weed will be reduced. But when this penning thing started disappearing, when we started moving into the monocrop, primarily in the irrigated belt, from the irrigated areas or irrigated land, from that time the penning activities has been reduced. So wherever there is a multi-cropping system, wherever there is a, I see that a lot of penning happened in, still happening in the state of Telangana, state of Andhra Pradesh. Then I have seen a lot of penning happening in the semi-arid region of Gujarat, Rajasthan, and all that. So therefore, we need to be specific that in my agroecology zone, which are the most important thing. So all the practices are not the practices which are adoptable in the Kutch district of Gujarat is not be applicable for the Malkangiri districts of Odisha or some other places. So, but we need to pick up the principles. So the principle was in penning is that how best we can provide, how low cost, very low cost practices that helps in soil health. So therefore, in particularly in the arid semi-arid region, where you will find a lot of seed population, a lot of large ruminant as well in Rajasthan and Gujarat, there probably penning is one of the option in improving the soil health, increasing the soil microbial activity within the soil. And I think most of the things that we have covered.
In our Tamil Nadu, sir, we are supposed to get to one cow from one calf from a cow, but 12 options we can get it. But the wrong habit is they don't feed the animal properly. The lifelong process, because of the machine invention for harvesting paddy, they are just selling all the straw and they are not willing to take the animals. And in some of the places like Haryana, we see the animals are put on the road. So the uncared management of the animal is also a challenge for the Indian situation. And the Gosha development may be good for people who are helpless animals, but these people are taking the animals back. When you go to Theni area, there is a peculiar practice. They got thousands of animals. They just sent to the forest area. It is right for them to send them to the forest area, and they are taking back also. And the things are very interesting that they just really collect the counter. And we had earlier done once upon a time, the animals will be put in the field and all. They will have the collection of the just for the goat and also the things. These apps must practice and also assistance will separately offered by the government. Then only can manage them. And just like the children having a crush, we need also calf centers also. Calf care centers exclusively wanted. Calf markets to be developed separately. And the animal health is very much in the doldrum in North Tamil Nadu because of this inability to care them. They think it is a costly affair to care in the days when the animal is not able to give milk. And even bankers don't want to give a loan also for some of the places, some of the villages are market for such inability to manage the animals. This is one of the problems, sir. This is one of the things to address in the future. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I think one of the area is now emerged, as far as my observation is concerned. The fodder that is after harvesting, except silage, no such a practices has been noticed that how to preserve the fodder, how to bring it palatable, and how it's to be increase the shelf life, because it is a very neglected one. It is kept aside and on bunds or somewhere else, or wherever heavy rainfall is there, they're putting into houses. That is very limited quantity, but it is to be bring into the actually the useful formats that I didn't come across. This is one of the emerging area for the research also.
No, there is a technology, sir, to prepare fodder bricks by combining the the
upscale is needed. Upscaling is needed. No, what is happening?
Yeah, upscaling is needed, but technology exists.
Rural level, transportation. I am working from last 30 years in the rural area. There are so many machineries or there technologies are there, but it is to be applicable at the rural, at grassroots level. Then and then it will acceptable. Yes.
Yeah, fodder brick technology is there, but the application is practical application is not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So agree, means I agree that there is a lack of proper attention to utilize this, fodder, storage of fodder, then what are the what are the research that needs to go into the palatability part of it. So that requires a kind of an attention, that I agree. Because primarily it is the fodder and water shortage that is the most limiting factor for the livestock. दूध अगर आ गया तो उसका मार्केटिंग कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा, कैसे भी करके ग्वाला लेके जाएगा, 2 पैसा कम देगा मगर हो तो जाएगा. But primary limiting factor is to look into the water and fodder, and therefore I am saying that it is important for animal husbandry department and the department to look into the fodder crisis very seriously and comprehensively. Not again the point is not one technology or one approach will work. So we need to look into the multiple approach and try to understand what is the level of fodder insecurity in the village and try to address with the different ways. One ways will be this, another way will be there could be 2-3 other ways also. So we need to work in tandem with all the options that we have.
Madam, ऐसे है, I have seen that in Punjab, kharif crops like maize and basmati response very well in organic or natural farming, but in rabi crops response is not up to date like wheat. Yield is very much reduced in wheat crop. Is reason for this is please verify. Kharif crops response very good in organic or natural farming, but during rabi crops yield is not up to date.
If you look at, if though there is a crop system, but again there is a wheat and you need to deal with the wheat for some time, and then it is grown in rabi, and there is a yield issues of yield during the rabi season as well, probably due to the climate, the cold, and etc. And if you have Mr. Rajendra Chaudhary from Haryana, who have started doing natural farming in wheat in Haryana, and they tried to look at that what is the current average yield in wheat, and over the period of 2-3 years they able to actually move beyond their productivity, have moved beyond the average yield in Haryana, particularly for the wheat crop as well. So my request would be, and in our NCNF, National Coalition on Natural Farming, we have a contact with Professor Rajendra Chaudhary, who was a professor of economics and left the professorships and doing this natural farming and organic farming. You can get in touch with him and probably you will find some of the solutions from him as well.